of course, welcome Pak Wamen, Bapak Alwedo Hong, as well as Pak Dirjen Hanif. Thank you for being with us, Pak. Today we will be talking about National Forest Monitoring System and Greenhouse Gases Monitoring System to support Indonesia FOLU Net-Zero 2030. I'll start with a brief context around the topic. So in order to achieve FOLU Net-Zero 2030, aside from formulating new policy instruments, control monitoring systems that's reliable, up-to-date, and equipped with transparent spatial database and information on forest resources are also critical. So this session, we will cover over the challenges and opportunities of the National Forest Monitoring System and GHG MRV in order to improve national forest management as well as environmental quality. To start with, I humbly invite our Vice Minister of Environment and Forestry, Republic Indonesia, Bapak Alwedo Hong, to deliver a keynote. Please step on the stage. Thank you.
Distinguished speakers, participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to give opening remark for this session entitled National Forest Monitoring System and GHG MRV to support Indonesia FOLU Net-Zero by 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that Indonesia is one of the largest tropical countries in the world, and we really understand the roles of forests, ecosystem in terms of economy, ecology, and social, including, to control the climate change. And therefore, forestry sector is play important roles in Indonesia economy, in Indonesia pledge to the climate change, particularly in our NDC. As you know, the government of Indonesia already submitted last September 2022 about our enhanced NDC. And we increased our pledge from 29% to 31.89% with our own effort. This equivalent to 915 million tons of CO2 emission target. And if there is international assistance, this pledge now increased become from 41 to 43.2% or equivalent to 1.24 billion tons of CO2 equivalent that we have to reduce by 2030. And there are two main sectors actually that contribute to this NDC pledge. First is forestry and land use sector. With this 31.89%, the target for emission reduction from forestry sectors is about 500 million ton CO2 equivalent by 2030. But with international assistance, it's become 726 million ton CO2 equivalent that we have to reduce. And the second place, of course, from energy sectors. So considering the importance of forest sector in achieving our NDC, therefore the Minister of Environment and Forestry, Republic of Indonesia, Her Excellency Siti Nurbaya Bakar, has enacted a policy, we call it Forest and Land Use Net-Zero by 2030, where we do hope that by 2030, the emission from forestry sector become a net-zero, or we hope that sequestration is about 140 million tons CO2 equivalent, bigger than emission come from the forestry ecosystem. So this FOLU Net-Zero by 2030 is very important, and the roles of monitoring system, especially the roles of national forestry monitoring system is the key issues, because when you deliver emission reduction from forestry sectors, the MRV is the key elements. Yeah, the integrity of this MRV system is very important to ensure the global commodities, to ensure the UNFCCC, to ensure that IPCC understood and accept, upon this deliverable of emission reduction. So this session, I think, is very important because we come up with many, what we call it, prominent speakers with their own, with their expertise on the field. Like Pak Saipul, he used to be a director for inventory, GHG inventory in the Directorate General of Climate Change Control. And Ibu Belinda, she's the director for the forest inventory, right? Is it here? Stand up, please. This is Ibu Belinda. And we also have Ibu Endah Tri Kurniawati. This is also very important because she's a director within the Environmental Funds Agency in Indonesia. And of course, our colleague from Norway, yeah? Andreas Dahi Jorgensen. Oh, you're there, yeah? You are the director for Norway International Climate and Forest Initiative. And this discussion gonna lead by our famous moderators, Dr. Efransah. So I welcome all of you, the speakers, the moderators, and all the audience here. We do hope we can learn a lot about from the speakers about the importance of a national forest monitoring system as well as MRV system in order to ensure our forest and land use net sink can be achieved, can be very integrated as well as receive what we call it integrity from the international community. So good luck for the speakers, and I end my speech, and thank you very much for all your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Pak Wamen, for the warm keynote remarks. And with that, let's get it started by inviting our moderator, Dr. Efransah, Senior Advisor for MOEF KLHK. Next is Dr. Syaiful Anwar. He is the Principal Policy Analyst on Climate Change MRV. Silakan, Pak. Ibu Belinda Margono, Director of Forest Resources Inventory and Monitoring. And this is our frequent speaker, I believe, Director of NICFI, Andreas Dahl Jorgensen. Thank you for being our loyal speaker in this pavilion. Last but not least, Ibu Endah Tri Kurniawati, who wants to be called Mbak Nia. She's the Director of Fundraising and Development from IEF. Please take the lead, Pak Efransah. Thank you, Pak Wamen.
Good evening, everyone. This is my second session today. If you observe the keynote, there are two dimensions that you may wish to agree has been revealed. One is the MRV, the importance of MRV, and then the second one is inventory. This is a classical terminology. I think all of the foresters knows this. So what's going on in the ministry is that even without MRV, the inventory has been developed for so many years. So we want to see how we link and capitalize all these assets, and I'm among the speakers. I have no consensus where to start. Tapi Bu Endah, ada kabar, you have a good news to share?
Yeah.
Why don't you start? We love good news. Yeah.
So I'm the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can I stand over there?
Yes,
Or
sir,
yeah?
please do.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Pak. So thank you, Pak Efransa. Good night, Bapak Ibu semua. Yeah. So yeah, maybe I'm the first one. Is supposed to be Pak Saiful, yeah. No, yeah, me and Bu Belinda starting to do green action by wearing the green. we, it's incidentally we have the same color. Yeah, so I think we will start with the NF and supporting of NMS from for result-based payment. So I think, yeah, what is the relation Indonesian Environment Fund with the result-based payment, and also the relation with the NFF, monitoring, National Monitoring Forest System. And maybe I will start with IF first. So IF is a public service agency under Ministry of Environment. So can you please share the PPT? Oh, okay. Okay. Huh? It doesn't work. So please next slide, please. Yeah. So as a public service agency, IF is directed by 10 ministers. So the chair is economic coordinator minister, and the vice chair is Minister of Environment and Forestry, and the member of the steering committee is Minister of Finance, Minister of Agriculture, Energy, and Marine and Fisheries, and also so on, some other line ministries. And then refer to the existing regulation regarding carbon pricing, number 90 and 98, 2021. Yeah, so refer to the existing regulation, Indonesian Environment Fund has got mandate to manage result-based payment. So by having this mandate, of course, IF should deliver the fund to the beneficiaries. And then based on the mandate as well, that the result-based payment should be intended to the mitigation action, adaptation action, and also to strengthen enabling condition. And then one of the enabling condition is how we can support how we can support national monitoring system conducted by KLHK, because as we know that when we doing monitoring, we have to make sure that the data is reliable, and also the data and information should be consistent over time, and also the data should be measurable for monitoring, reporting, and verification. So that's why by having supporting from the result-based payment, it is expected that this result-based payment can support the enabling condition. And then how IF can deliver the fund, of course, IF's in the beginning of managing of the fund, we have to develop investment plan. So investment plan will describe the guidance, how the fund will be invested in. So let's say, as I mentioned, so we make detailed planning, what kind of the adaptation, mitigation, enabling condition will be delivered to the beneficiaries. This is one of the how IF work. And then maybe as we know that potential result-based payment source of fund, as we know that there are some potential from international sources. The first one may be from multilateral fund, as we know that under Green Climate Fund. Under Green Climate Fund, there are menu for the result-based payment of RED Plus. And then we already got the first payment of the result-based payment, and then maybe in the next, there will be a second phase of the result-based payment. But as we know that the process of the TOR development still under discussion with the board. So maybe hopefully next March will be issued by the Green Climate Fund. And the next potential is coming from bilateral cooperation. As we know that Indonesia have a lot of bilateral cooperation with the philanthropy, as you, Klua, and also Norway, and also some others. And also maybe we also have multilateral cooperation as well with the World Bank regarding the result-based payment as well. So I think because this is the result-based payment, of course, how we can get the money, it will be based on the performance. And then how the performance can be measured, it will use the MRV result. And then how the MRV will be done, of course, the MRV needs data and information based on the monitoring system. So this is the relationship among others. And then, yeah, maybe refer to the potential source of the fund for result-based payment, as I mentioned earlier, that multilateral fund and also maybe bilateral fund also, require the NFMS as one of the requirements should be fulfilled. So maybe as we can see in the screen, this is the approval process from Green Climate Fund. So when each party would like to access the result-based payment, they have to submit the concept note. And then when they submit the concept note, they have to include the NFMS as one of the requirements should be included. And also maybe other things. Of course, we have to also submit the FREL, one of the evidence. And also Technical Annex, as Indonesia already submitted to UNFCCC as well. And also system on information on safeguard and national RED Plus strategy. So this is all requirement. So NFMS is one of the requirements that, of course, will be important to access all the result-based payment, not only to GCF, but also maybe other source of fund. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, because this is the basis how then MRV can be done. And then when we submit the concept note, of course, the board of the GCF will review how all of these things can be fulfilled by parties accessing the fund to GCF. Yeah, I think this is how we can explain. So after we got the result-based payment, I mentioned earlier, so some of the fund will be allocated again to the strengthening the enabling condition of the process of development the NFMS. Next, yeah. So this is how IF thematic program. Regarding the result-based payment, IF maybe most of the fund got by the IF based on the result-based payment. So IF just established in 2019, and we just operational 2020, September 2020. So it means we are still under 5 years old. And right now we already manage around 1,500 million US dollar, and then maybe around 330 million US dollar is a result-based payment. So I think this is quite important for Indonesia to be more active and also always updated the process on how to develop the NFMS for continuing to access the result-based payment in multilateral fund. And also maybe, as we know that in this COP, we agree to have a kind of, I don't know, Dubai Green Climate Fund, something like that. So platform, and then it will be maybe new source of fund as well, maybe later on. Yeah, so this is just a picture how IF works. So when we manage the fund, of course, we have the objective or the big goals, how we can contribute to the NDC, our NDC, by putting 5 thematic programs. The first one regarding the FOLU and ecosystem management, and the second one regarding just and affordable clean energy and clean consumption and production, and also improve health, water, and food security, and also adaptation and pooling fund disaster. So one of the thematic program related to the result-based payment, and also it is expected can reach the outcome of reduce the emission reduction. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, right now Indonesia have collaboration with the Norway, some philanthropies, and also the World Bank, and also Green Climate Fund. So I think that's all, Pak Efransa, from ours. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Nia. Bu Endah, Bu Nia, same things. So I think it's good to see this first and how it will relate to the next work. So the next presentation, you have 10 minutes maximum to present the most important thing about MRV, what is the current progress, and what are the, please mention about the rumah carbon, if you don't mind. And then, and after that, we go back to the classic inventory, and we will see how it links, and we will request our Andreas, our Norwegian friend, to intervene last. Pak Saiful, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. I will make I will make a good use of 10 minutes, hopefully.
Okay.
It's actually difficult to explain MRV in very short. Well, good evening, colleagues and friends. Well, I'm delighted to be here with you to this opportunity to present with regard MRV in FOLU Netsing 2030. Sorry, this technology. Okay. So as you understand that MRV is very important part in the process of claiming the emission reduction. MRV is very vital. So MRV is a climate action mechanism that meets the TACCC principles: transparency, accurate, complete, consistent, and comparable. I hope you all understand with this principle. It's always mentioned during the when we talk about inventory or reducing emission. So claim for emission reduction must be measurable, reportable, and verifiable. Therefore, activities that should be undertaken is measurement and reporting and verifying. So measurement, or usually doing it during monitoring, is that will done periodically, usually yearly, every year, just to measure the emission or emission sequestration happen during the activities. And then reporting is the result of measurement and to be understand, and verify is to ensure the content of the report is accurate, reliable, and accountable. So that is the principle of MRV. And the next, sorry, yeah. During this, in a Paris Agreement, there is Article 13 that mandated that MRV is build transparency, which is mandated to be enhanced in Article 13 of Paris Agreement. So MRV is to build transparency, which is really important, and it is mandated in Article 13 of Paris Agreement to be enhanced. So first, with regard to FOLU net sinks, first is planning. The planning stage is to obtain operational plan. We call it RENOPS or RO, and then work plan, or usually we call it RENJA. This is part of the activity of FOLU net sink activities, and then baseline emission and emission reduction or carbon sequestration target. And all planning should be validated if it is just to ensure that planning is comply with requirement. And then measurement, the stage of implementation stage is measurement to obtain data from the implementation result of the mitigation action. And then to obtain actual magnitude of greenhouse gas emission and sequestration. And then the next stage is reporting. So reporting of the achievement of mitigation action. So all of these results will be put into the system. We call it national registry system, and also with the national inventory system. And then all of this will be by system, and then need to be verified if it is the purpose is for business, and then we need to have a body for verification, independent body for verification, validation and verification. So that's why there is external independent and also internal verifier. So we call it MRV team. So the next, So in terms of FOLU net sink, we have to have two reports. The first report is mitigation action reports, and then the second is emission or sequestration report. So for mitigation action report, recording and data collection by the relevant work unit, and then this report submitting mitigation action plan according to the activities plan and budget. So the plan, they have planning for activities and budget available for that, so need to be reported. And then the implementation of the mitigation action itself, and then assessment of the success in achieving the target of mitigation action. And the other report is about emission sequestration report. So this is based on land cover from overall aggregate of entire planning, operational plan. So this carbon sequestration or emission is calculated based on National Forest Monitoring System, we call it Simontana, by using SIGN, National greenhouse gas inventory system. So the carbon emission sequestration is not calculated per activity within RO. This is just to avoid double counting, because the activity sometimes is overlap. For example, for planting trees, and sometimes planting trees also conducted in the production forest, and the production forest, they have their own management, so sometimes overlap, so we cannot calculate the emission for each operational planning. So MRV activity is conducted based on regional governance unit, such as management unit, district, province, and also national levels. So this is the process of the 2 reports from the work unit, and then to district mayor and to the governor. And all is this and put in national registry system. And then this is in the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. Then they will assign DG for climate change and DG planology. So the report is going to different DGs, and the MRV also will be different. There is MRV team and FOLU Net Sync team as well. So we can use expert, independent expert to support this team. And then the team will do verification. During verification process, if it is verified, and then we can put into system in national registry system. And if not, then we have to go back to the proponent, to the government, or the the other proponent. And the next, this is the methodology used, of course, we use IPCC guidelines 2006, volume 4 for FOLU. So this is IPCC guideline, include refinement 2019. And also we have ISO, or Indonesia National Standard, and also other approved guideline by DG of climate change. Yes, I think that is. Thank you very much. If you mention about rumah carbon, yes, if anybody want to have more information, you can visit our building in Jakarta, Manggala Wana Bakti, 2nd floor. There is a rumah carbon, carbon house for consultation. Yes, for consultation. But you have to register. We have a link for make a registration, because you have to arrange so many people coming, so need arrangement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Saiful Anwar. And the next one, Dr. Belinda Margono.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for this opportunity. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. Pak Efransah, if the first presenter, Mbak Nia, is already explained about the money, how to get the money and where the money goes. Pak Saiful has already explained about how to prove that the money can be delivered, what process we have so far and so on. But my presentation will be more in how to prepare the data and information that can become money. Before starting this session, I have some conversation with the Vice Minister. I talked to him that actually many people maybe sometimes forget about the importance of data and information, but I think we cannot get the result-based payment if we don't have the data, if we don't have the information, if we don't have the methodology to develop the data. So please start, yeah, okay. Usually Pak Efransah will give a question. I prepare already a question for myself because it will be easier for me to answer rather than getting the question from Pa Efransa. Why forest monitoring system is important and how it will be provide a suitable information. And why the FOLU net sync need a support from the Simontana. But I think the second question is already explained by Pak Saiful. You've seen it from his slide. So my job is much more easier. I only answer the first question. This is just introductory that how important the remote sensing data for us, because our country actually is huge. It's just like the size of United States. It's just like the size of Europe. But we have an island. I mean, we have an ocean in between. That is the condition that we have now. Supposedly, when we use the Landsat data, we have like 208 scene for the country. But when we use the Sentinel, we have like 556 scenes. So that gives the information that using the remote sensing is something also complicated because the area is relatively very huge. And then when we already have the information from the remote sensing, we need also to complete with the data from the terrestrial. That's the thing why we have to deal with the field. But before we go further, I will need to highlight this condition. When somebody deal with Indonesia, Indonesian forest specifically, I think I used to explain about this because I got the audit every time, so I have to explain this one. There are two main important information that we have to notice. First is about the physical condition, physical definition. That is the one that actually we got from the remote sensing data. So we got the distribution of forest, we got the area of the forest, and so on. That is the physical definition. And then the other one, this part, is actually the legal definition. So you will see the forest by like the conservation forest, the protection forest, the production forest. That is the legal status. It could be forested, it could be not. You can see in the middle. That is the situation like now. So this need to be highlighted time and every time because we don't want to get mixed between the legal status and the physical condition. When we deal with forest resource monitoring, we have a couple of instruments. First one, it's about measuring on the ground. The second one, it's about getting the land cover, the forest cover. The third one is getting the land cover change and also deforestation. All the time, we got all questions related to that one. And the last one is actually, we just developed this one. We call it the vegetation or deforestation alert system. It's an alert. It may be not deforestation, but there is an alert, there is a change in that area. So based on this instrument, we can move forward. This is our field measurement on the ground. Yes, because Indonesia is very huge, we have to collect the data from the ground as well. The old system, actually I will call it old system because we already have quite old since from 1989. This is the one. Distribution of all national forest inventory. That is the systematic sampling. So we have systematic for the entire country. We have like 4,000, more than 4,000 plots. The small, within one cluster, we have also subplot. So this all the measurement, we already start do the measurement since 1989 up to now. But when we develop this system, actually the issue of climate change has not yet risen. This is specifically for forest management. And then we realized that actually we need to update our system, our monitoring system. In the right, you will see this one. This is the new design of our national forest inventory. It's not yet in place because we have transition in 2024, but it will be implemented in 2025. This is following the design of the global as well. So this is like a hexagon. So it's like, maybe you will not see, but you will also see there. But the globe is having all the system, everything by the hexagon. And each hexagon actually can be represented different subject. For instance, if we want to get more trees in dry land, we will use different area of the hexagon. But if we got the mangrove, we will have different size. This is actually the new design. We consider this because when we use systematic sampling, we can lose information. Because sometimes between the plot, because the systematic sampling is 20 by 20, between the plot we can lose something. But with this one, we will not lose it. We will get everything. But it's not yet in place. We are now in the transition mode, but we will fully operate in 2000 and 2005. This is the remote sensing data. I probably just want to highlight that we have long history when we have our system. It's just not just created by clicking 1 or 2 days or somebody make it for us. No, it's long history. We have it since 1995 up to now. Yes, right now we use mostly a Landsat because Landsat cover a lot of area. So we have like 200 scenes, that is enough for us. But yes, maybe for the future, we need to combine also. And I'm happy that Andrea's here. Maybe we're going to work more about this one because maybe Landsat is only cover the national. Maybe we need to go deeper and we need to have more resolution for the data. That is the thing. But the long history of the land cover is give us a lot of information, a lot of lesson learned about how we use the remote sensing data. We have our land cover classes, like 23 classes. Many people said that's too much. So why not? This is Indonesia. We need more information. Why not only 6? We need 23. That's why we keep the 23. That's the thing. Okay, and this is the data that we have from 90s up to 2022. You can see it's moved closely. The 23 classes, we group it into 2 classes only, the forested and non-forested. And we use this one. The auditor is also want to see this one. It's just an example. And we have also the accuracy. There is a number of accuracy of this one. That is the accuracy of the land cover itself. But on the report, we have also the accuracy of the change, because the change is also one of the information that is necessary. This is the deforestation rate. The high deforestation rate in the 90s is actually because we don't have a good system during that time. Everything was manual. That's why I will say this is too much. It's not as big as that one. But since we don't have the methodology, we don't have the technology, we keep it that way. But nowadays, everything is getting better. This is the information from the global. So for 2022, Indonesia is the 10 countries that have the less reduction in natural forests. So the very few deforestation. I think it's a good thing because we are the red country and we try to give a result-based payment. That is a proof. We have our own system developed by time, and the system is actually also audited by the international community. This is the process, how we got the FOLU net sync from mitigation action plan. Is already explained by Pak Saiful, mitigation action. And later on is also for the performance result. We use the system, not only the land cover, but it's also the geospatial information system. It's quite complicated, but this is just showing that actually in the country we have the full government regulation. As a background of this, all of the analysis. We have an area that we have to prepare the data, and there is also a system how all the data, it's ready in spatial, can be communicate each other. So we use the name is actually SIGAP, that is to connect all the information. This is the branding, sorry about that one. This is the monitoring system with the Bino, this guy, and this is of the geospatial data set. It's already explained by Pak Saiful, but actually we are preparing the data to fulfill those two one. First is for the giving the target area, planning implementation, cost implementation, time and everything, and also mainly for the annual greenhouse gas emission level. With this, I think I would like to close my presentation, but keep in mind that actually the data is very important because we cannot go further if we don't have the data in a good management system. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Belinda, from the two presentation. It is clear to us, it has been displayed to robust system, and we can always dispute or debate, but the basis and the methodology here is clear. Of course, it's evolving, it's always being updated and being developed, but the systems are there. I mean, when there is a claim or there is a statement on certain quantitative aspect, it has been supported by those data, and some of them are been collected very long. So we have here, it's an honor to have Andreas Dahl Jorgensen, Director of Norwegian International Climate and Forest Initiative, NICFI. Do you think you can scale up or boost up what my colleague just has been said in order to have even more robust system? Because there are in the future still challenges to go. Please go ahead. You want to? Sure, I think I have some slides.
Thank you so much for having me back here. It's an honor to be here for the third time. It's a hat trick, late overtime. I will clearly disappoint you with my knowledge about MRV because I will not be able to go into the depth that we've heard now. But I do want to appreciate our long-standing relationship on these issues and also to congratulate you once again on the tremendous results that Indonesia has achieved in reducing emissions. We saw there from Ibu Belinda the numbers and the ranking. I mean, it's very clear for the world to see what has been achieved, and it's also very clear what has contributed to those results. I talked about that the last two times, so I won't do that now, but the monitoring system is a key part of that, not just to measure the results, but to measure the results of and evaluate policies and land use planning and different decisions that go into the tremendous achievement that Indonesia has achieved over the last few years. And of course, following the tremendous results, I should also again mention the ambition of the plan of the FOLU Net Sink operational plan, not only a very high ambition of global significance, but also a very much thought through and detailed plan to get there. And we very much appreciate being a partner of Indonesia in this effort. And earlier at the COP on Friday, our Prime Minister in our bilateral meeting with President Jokowi confirmed our second and third results-based contribution under our memorandum of understanding from last year, totaling $100 million to go into the BPDLH that we heard about earlier here. So when we, as I said, a core part of making that possible is the Simontana, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but the work that you have worked over many years to develop and further refine and make progress on. I think yeah, there are the slides. That's great. And I want to thank Ibu Belinda and your team and all the work that you've done in the, not only in the work to present the report, but to respond to verification, and the whole process has been very very smooth and effective, and I think that goes to the quality of the work that was in there in the first place. So that's an important point to make. With Stimontana, you're showing the transparency also. It's not just about measuring effectively, but it's being transparent about what's happening in land and the forest, and the data and the methodologies behind the TAC principles that were referred to her earlier as well. So to the slides, I think I was challenged. I'm not sure I will deliver on the challenge, but to talk about certainly we will not improve your system. That's what you do, but we do have a global contribution that we hope can be useful for Indonesia and other countries. We have since 2020 provided through a tender process that we ran through a consortium of Kongsberg Satellite Services, Planet Labs and Airbus, access to high-resolution satellite data with 5-meter resolution, updated every month, free of charge, of all tropical forest countries. So the purpose is to reach the overall objective of addressing deforestation and contributing to restoration, conserve biodiversity, and facilitate sustainable development. This goes, in our view, at the core of all of our strategies, both on supporting land use governance in countries, to enable results-based payments and incentives structures for companies to evaluate their supply chains and so on. And I'll get back to a little bit of that. Earlier this week, our Prime Minister announced that we intend to launch a second phase of this program. We will run a new tender process early 2024, and we're hoping we can do that in time to both get a product that is good and affordable, and that can ensure a smooth transition from the current setup for the users that have become accustomed to this. And we're doing this in partnership this time with Bezos Earth Fund, so we're co-funding this initiative. I wanted to recognize their contribution also to this endeavor. So, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, so this is some of the details. It's covering the tropical belt. So internally in our ministry, there's complaints that all the forest countries that we work with now have better data than we have of our own forests. And so maybe that's the tweak we want to make in the tender process to get access to Norwegian data, because it is data that our teams working on domestic policy really would like to use as well. We have deforestation, we have forest degradation, and we want to plan our land and our, when we have infrastructure projects or when we have road building or anything, we want to be able to have the best available data to protect our different nature types and so on, to make contributions that we want to make to the global agreements on climate and nature as well. So that's a big if, but so far the program has been for the tropical belt, so from 30 degrees north to 30 degrees south. So the use cases are many for this type of data. I think the most important one is for governments, for supporting land use planning, sort of deciding sort of who can do what, where, and how to make trade-offs and decisions that improve both land use and other objectives that governments have. It's been very effective for some governments to use for law enforcement purposes, because you get frequent access to illegalities, and that's been in a pace that is quick enough to respond. And of course, these other water management is an important issue. We see that now in the Amazon with the drought that we're seeing. You can see very clear effects of that through the landscape. And I mentioned some of these other supply chain management, that companies can track risks in their supply chain basin, and legal issues as well. yeah, I mentioned the different users. This is a bit hard to read, but of the current users, this is the ones that have registered as users that can download the data. It's been the biggest user have been governments, but also significant use from academia for research, from NGOs and non-profit organizations. Some from the private sector. I think some of them are quite important, the ones that use it, so the number is maybe not reflective of its importance. And indigenous peoples who have used the data to sort of make activism or claims about what they feel are infringements on their communities. So these are some of the numbers. I won't go into all of them, but we have collected a bunch of user stories that I'm happy to share afterwards if there's interest in how the program has been used to date. There's been more than 100 scientific articles based on the data, and we now have users from 158 countries, and 120 million tiles have been streamed for this product since 2021. So, yeah, this is going into a bit more of the details. I think I'll pause there and just say, coming back to the beginning, did you want to go further? No. So I can share the slides. I guess I did already. So the Indonesian forest monitoring system is already very efficient and comprehensive. We've been impressed with what's been happening, or the progress that made in a very short time in strengthening its integrity, scope, and coverage, accuracy, frequency, and of the user interface. And we also noticed with pleasure the support with FEO, that they have been an effective partner from what we understand, and hope that can continue as well. We work with them around the world, and I think they know certainly more than I do about these things, and I hope that they have been useful to you as well. So congratulations again. I don't know if I met the challenge, but I hope that this can be a useful contribution as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andreas. It sounds good to me. So it sounds that we have a prospect, even a brighter prospect in the future. And what has been invested is worth it, yeah? I think we are very proud of it. And I don't know what to ask you, Belinda, for this late hour. But I want to ask audience, is there any pertinent questions for any of our experts here? So Simantana has been acknowledged, yeah? And we are on the way with even more relevant things in relation to the later in the future carbon trade. So it's that we are in the right direction. Can you challenge me? If not, I feel like that after having seen all this. And what is important here, this is not qualitative. This is not a claim. This is a quantitative thing. So they are there. We cannot temper or we cannot just ignore. So we got a solid base. I think I should congratulate you. In particular, if you are living. I feel sad. Yeah. Anyway, is there any questions? Bu Devi, you have any curiosity about, please do.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Also, congratulations. It is impressive. The SRN, it's very good. I was just wondering because now during this COP there is global stocktake, and we understand there is also initiative on independent global stocktake. So I was wondering, Pak Saiful, Bu Belinda, whether or not the system SRN would also incorporate that kind of independent mechanisms for others to contribute to the data. Thank you.
But before we are going further, the GST is a collective assessment. It's not individual. It's not about Indonesia, etc. But it's good to see and anticipate this from national angle. Do you have anything to say about it?
I think for SRN is Pak Saiful will answer more completely, but at least I think I don't know how to answer this one regarding the independent or so on, but I think the SRN is one of the key that we can connect or to know who's doing what in what area. It's a challenge, Pak Fransah, because the emission reduction is not single action. It's many people actually contribute in this situation. But we want to know who's dealing with what, who contribute in what situation, what condition. And I think one of the tools to understand that connection is the SRN. For the time being, Pak Saiful maybe will answer more about that thing. But SRN is also a big challenge for us. And to know is like, you know that Indonesia, we have like country, province, district, and also the local community. Everybody can get involved, but who will be in the SRN? That is also a question. So Pak Saiful, maybe you can continue to answer.
Thank you. Well, with regard to global stocktake is actually backward looking. So we want to know what our states now from since the beginning to now. So the information of global stocktake came from all parties. Yeah, Indonesia especially, we agree that came from our report, like biennial update report, national communication. So Indonesia, we also submit BUR and also national communication, and all coming from SRN as well. So SRN actually is like a database. So we would like to have one data in SRN, especially for carbon, for emission, for sequestration. So because if many institutions also have this and will there is discrepancy data. So that's what SRN actually have a play role in global stocktake. And usually people when ask about SRN is about related to carbon pricing. So this is sometimes, and SRN become independent. We internationally we have 21 registry system, which is or crediting mechanism with the registry, their own national registry is 21. So now growing. Previously is international crediting scheme, but now growing national crediting scheme like SRN as well. I think that's it, but thank you.
Can I have nice suggestions? Can we save 10 minutes? If we can save 10 minutes, I'm about to wrap up. And I would like to ask Andreas, do you have any specific message to convey? What I heard from you is acknowledgement and encouragement for our continuous work. Is there anything extra?
I think that covers it.
So I think we should give applause to these two. They are champions, and it has been a lot of air mata ya, dan keringat. Thank you so much for your kind collaboration. Thank you very much. And please come again
Tomorrow.
to Indonesia's Pavilion. Thank you.